Hi, community. So welcome, first of all, to this new way of being with one another as we've been adjusting over the past week to the new parameters in which we are living. So welcome. We're all doing the best we can, it seems, and this is one way that we're doing it. So thank you for being here. This is my first video, obviously, that I'm putting up on this virtual studio. I don't know if this will continue after we're done physically distancing, but I did want to offer an opportunity for us to stay connected to the practices and the way that I teach them, if you feel served by them. So thank you for being a part of it. I have Gus here with me today because he is with me today. And so he may be in on some of the videos as well as Maggie, and sometimes it'll be just me. So hoping that you can flow with me in it all. I'd like to first just say that a few weeks ago, no, this is probably like a month ago, I was staying at my in-laws with the two kids and I was by myself. And when we stay at my in-laws, all three of us, me, Maggie and Gus, all sleep in the same bed. It's a nice giant bed, but it's all in the same bed. And it really didn't go that well because we don't typically co-sleep with one another. So obviously if you've ever tried to sleep with a toddler, it's kind of crazy town. And long story short, we were all waking each other up. And I was awake almost the entire night. I did not get maybe 20 minutes of sleep interrupted throughout the night. And I'm happy to say that I didn't suffer in it. If I would have had that experience, maybe even as soon as last year, I would have really struggled. I would have went through a lot of ups and downs in that 8-hour period in the dark of night, struggling with lots of thoughts and emotions, anger, turmoil, frustration. I would have become really anxious and in turn just kind of stirred in that anxiety. And I really would have suffered through that 8-hour period in which I wasn't getting any sleep. Something saved me that night from suffering, and it was this practice of non-attachment. And the practice of yoga teaches us this in the yamas and niyamas. It asks us, or rather invites us, to not hold on to expectations. We have a lot of ideas about what we believe our world and our life should look like. We have this idea that if life was like this, I would be happier, or everyone would be more joyful, we would be more at peace. And the practice of yoga invites us into this idea of that it doesn't necessarily matter what life looks like. How do we find contentment in the way that it is right now? And now that doesn't mean, I know that's a fine line, it doesn't mean we don't act for change, because there are certain things that do need to change, that if we just stayed content with them, nothing would ever evolve and we would not make very important changes to our world that need to happen. However, it's this kind of mix between effort and ease, between being ignited for transformation and also at peace with what is, and relaxed into the process. Right now, it's like a giant pause button has been hit on the entire world. It's saying, let's all retreat and go inward, which is an amazing invitation for all of us to do our own personal individual work, to quiet down and do our own sort of retreat within. So that's, first of all, an amazing invitation. So back to the story and what it taught me, especially for the times in which we are finding ourselves right now, is the practice of non-attachment. So I could have very easily been like, oh my God, I'm not getting any sleep. It's 3 a.m. I should be sleeping right now. They should be sleeping right now. I have this tomorrow. What is that going to be like? I wish I was more comfortable. I wish Maggie was in her crib. I wish we were at home, I would be sleeping right now, da 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 da. And again, just adding to the anxiety. And instead, I just invited myself to consider there's 24 hours in a day. Who said that this is supposed to be the time that we're to sleep? Maybe I'll be able to sleep at 2 p.m. tomorrow during the day, and that will be fine. Who's to say that I am supposed to be sleeping right now? Really was like the biggest thing for me. And just staying unattached to what it is that I thought it was supposed to look like in that moment. Nonetheless, the kids were like up at 5 a.m. And again, instead of being attached to, no, we're not supposed to wake up until 7 a.m., I said, great, 5 a.m., let's just get up. Because laying in bed wasn't going to be enjoyable for me. And so we all got up and then we just rolled with the day and it was fine. So we, just like the breath, we allow things to flow in and we allow things to flow out. And that is the invitation in this time that we are in right now. I invite you to allow whatever the experience is in life, in this moment, whether it be in the outside world or inside of you, to just don't have any expectation around it. Don't have any sort of agenda around what it is you're supposed to be feeling, what it is you're supposed to be doing, what life is supposed to look like right now, because that obviously is getting blown out of the water. How do we open our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and just allow life to be experienced and to digest it as it is? And when you feel called to make a change, like, okay, there's something that needs to shift, or I'm feeling the call to shift this, let that be a natural progression versus a forceful change. So I think of childbirth a lot, and when we try to push without a contraction, it's actually using more of our effort and leaving us exhausted than if we wait for a contraction and then allow our bodies just to do what it needs to do. So wait for that moment that you feel inspired to make a change or when action needs to happen. Otherwise, take rest, allow life to be as it is without expectation, and know that we all will be okay. And that this is life, and life doesn't promise us anything. It doesn't promise us that it will be, if it's a particular way, that we all will be at peace and with full of joy. It's just natural for there to be peaks and valleys. And even in this moment of our life, there's a great paradox that there is a lot of turmoil, but in that turmoil, there is also going to be a lot of transformation. So have hope. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you in this Facebook group and to be inspired, to be connected, and to be well.